wanted to come and sit down and talk to you a little bit. I always came to you to talk to you about what are y'all doing in technology. And I've supported your account for 20 years and been kind of like my own personal trusted advisor. So I kind of want to talk to you about the biggest topic that everyone in the school districts are talking about, security and being safe in the school district. Ever since the shooting, as you know, Parkland, that has been topic of everybody's concern. How do we secure the schools? You have a significant investment in your technology, and you are a lot further along than a lot of schools. We all know this. But I want to kind of walk through this with you and tell me a little bit about what am I missing and if I'm on the right track. And also, when we go through this together, we'll kind of figure out together what's left to do and what can I do to help you. So, kind of want to go through this with you together. So, when I think of technology, when I think of security, I think of it in multiple ways. I think of a physical way and also a technical way. And so if I talk from 3 different layers, I'm going to talk about like the network. And what I mean by that, I'm going to say both physical concerns and then technical concerns. And what I mean by that is obviously from a technical concern, how do you lock down your endpoints, which we know you've made a purchase in AMP to protect all your end devices from viruses. And then you have obviously a centralized firewall. You do URL filtering. You have VPN access, lockdown. All that aside, you also obviously have one of the first adopters of ICE. As far as authentication, as far as bringing people on board and making sure, you have them all set up with the Active Directory and the right groups and accessing the right devices internally. And you do stuff for people that bring their devices off-site. How do you protect them from going to wrong, URLs and stuff like that. And, you don't do anything in the cloud, so, there's really not a need just yet to protect your data in the cloud because you do everything on premise. But for physical security, obviously, I think of things like security cameras. I think of badge access. Background checks, which has been something you've been doing for many, many years. And, that also includes, obviously, seeing there are sex offenders, site. But you've taken physical security to a next level because you're now making it where there's only one entrance into every building and every campus, a single point entrance. But let's talk about the next portion, and I want to ask you about that. You have, to me, it would be the next step is how do we protect your teachers, okay? And how do you enforce a policy and training with them? And then we want to talk about, obviously, students. And when I think of students, I also think it goes hand in hand with parents, obviously. So let's start off with teachers. Now, you have a lot of cool things besides just, your network security. You also have been a long user of Cisco Voice. So you have a huge investment in phones. But you're also one of the first, schools that I can remember that embrace emergency responder. So you've been a big user of emergency responder for many, many years. So that's always been in place. And you've been a huge telepresence customer. So you've been doing a lot of cool things with Collab, as far as cool things like field trips and stuff like that, and video conferencing, distant learning, all that's already been in place. But you've taken that a step further and recently purchased Informacast as far as alerting and if anything incident coming on there, so you're utilizing your foundation as far as using your phones with Informicast. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing with Informicast?
Yeah, so with Informicast, we're basically utilizing it to create a series of steps. So when an event occurs, a number of different things will automatically be kicked off by the Informicast system. So whether it be signaling an all call on the intercom or the phone system, or displaying a message on all the computers about what is going on, the nature of the event, simultaneously signaling or calling the front office, letting them know what's going on or what happened in a classroom, and then having all of that information also communicate back to our central office so that they're aware of what's going on. So all these, using Informicast basically to develop a scripted response to an event, and so that the person, as that event's occurring, the person in the moment is not having to think about doing all of those things. All those things can simultaneously happen and be kicked off. All the person has to do is remember how to initiate the process, and then once that happens, then let the system take over, so that frees the person up to be able to respond and deal with just the incident and what's going on in that moment, in that place.
And you have a significant investment in cameras too. And one of the cool things that I understand that you did with the cameras is that you integrated it in a sense of your video phones. So when somebody rings the doorbell, the video comes up on their Cisco phone, and they identify the person and allow them to come in. You've eliminated a lot of steps. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're using video doorbells, basically. So it's leveraging the camera technology that we're accustomed to using, while making it more of like a doorbell type concept, where a person will walk up to the front door, press the button to initiate a call. The system then leverages SIP to establish a call with our Cisco call manager and video phones, and then simultaneously rings a series of phones, and whoever is the first person to pick it up is the phone that establishes video call with. It's a one-way video call, so only the person at the phone can see the person at the front door, not vice versa. And then based on that, can interact with the person at the front door, ascertain whether or not they're a threat, or they're supposed to be there, and then can release the front door once all of that happens. And then simultaneously, we're also implementing access control in those pieces as well.
So how do you actually train the teachers to use all these tools?
We use a variety of different mechanisms, but one of the ones that we found to be the most effective is by developing videos, small 3 to 5 minute segment videos which review the technology, so that one, they can see that the technology initially in these videos, but then also if they need to refer back to them at any time, they're always available on demand, so that they're able to access it from a training perspective.
So where do you store all that?
We use a video on demand system internally, where we house those videos, and then they're accessible at any point.
Are you using any of your Cisco hardware for that, or not?
Yeah, the Cisco UCS platform. It's virtualized on the platform, and we're using technology, video on demand technology, open source video on demand technology from a company called Kaltura to do that.
Okay, great. And okay, so then let's talk about, obviously there's the concerns with violence happening, onto the campus, and alerting and that, and monitoring that, and signaling that, and it seems like that. But obviously we're living in the hurricane. We were the ones that got hit by Herman about this time last year. How do you notify not only the teachers but students and parents that evacuation or emergency, or how you're handling it?
So we leverage our communication tools like like Blackboard, apparently Messenger, the ability to be able to send communications via a variety of different sources, whether it be phone, text, email.
You're using an application, is this homegrown that y'all develop, or is this something
No,
Blackboard?
it's an application that Blackboard has, but basically it's like a messaging product that via any of those methods that I just mentioned, or also via the web, social media, all of those different things, that we can push out messages and very targeted to the audience. So whether if we're trying to push it out to students, staff, parents, the audience, being able to target that audience and then communicate that information very timely. If we need to get a response from someone, being able to use an SMS platform where we'll be able to solicit a response. So would you be able to return to work by XX day? So if we can send that message out and then get a yes or no response, then we can basically, it's like polling. So, oh hey, 3,000 people said yes, 2,000 people said no. Okay, well maybe we should think about extending this, this time off of work longer, those sort of things.
So you brought up a good point, social media, okay? Do you also use the same platform for bullying or, any kind of...
So we have bullying reporting processes internally that we utilize to allow people to report bullying incidents or things that occur and make us aware of it. We have a zero tolerance policy towards bullying, so just enabling us to use different tools to help have that in place and help enforce that, and allow people to be able to report on it.
Okay. So, do you have a digital signage in place?
Yes, we do. So we leverage a couple of open source platforms as far as digital signage goes, and basically being able to communicate that information across the network to any of our digital signage devices, being able to reprogram those on demand in the event of an emergency. That's something that Informacast is actually able to do as well, as being able to send a message in an emergency to those digital signage devices so that things can be broadcast up there as well.
Okay, back to, it is an emergency, power outages, storm happens. What do you do when, no power? Do you lose your phones? What happens? What is your backup plan?
So that's really where our hardened data centers come into effect. That we have backup, battery backup, generator power. The nice thing about using the voice over IP phone system is as long as your switches have power, your phones have power. So being 100% PoE and being a long time PoE user for all of our devices, whether it be phones, cameras, wireless access points, all those devices, that as long as we have battery backups in the closet and generator power, then those systems can remain on indefinitely.
So, we talked about all this. You seem like you've, got a really cool plan here, and you got a lot of things covered. As far as, parents keeping track of their kids and understanding where all they are at, and I know you're looking to implement things like bus applications and stuff like that, where parents can, see where their kids are. Tell me a little bit about that, what you're all planning on doing.
Yeah, looking at technologies like being able to tell parents so that they know where the bus is for their students, if it's going to be a late bus, early bus, any kind of event that the bus might have broken down. Being able to provide as timely of information about that as possible, and improving on what we have right now. You really utilizing an application to be able to deliver that more accurately, securely, to making sure that that information is only presented to the people that need to see it and parents. But basically being able to communicate that information timely to them.
So you have a lot of applications in place, you have a lot of technology in place. Do you feel that everything is secured? I mean, your school, you know, there's obviously kids that are very intelligent, with hacking there, but also outside of the United States, there's been a lot of people that are seeing where from other countries coming in and do that. How do you protect everything from not being accessed from outside?
Well, that's where the firewall technologies and AMP, secure, only allowing remote access remotely through secure VPN, all those technologies that we're utilizing to defend the network. Is it, always 100% perfect? No, we always know that there could be something that could happen, but it's about mitigating risk, and it's lowering the risk that something will happen, and then at some point knowing that we've attempted to mitigate all the risk that we can at this point, and always trying to find new ways to do that better in the future, and what are some enhancements that we can continue to make. So.
I forgot you also had the email security too. That's one more layer that y'all have done.
Yeah, so we do proactive phishing of our users. We do proactive training campaigns about email security, web security, just network security in general. We've been doing that for a couple of years now. So trying to be proactive, and it's really about educating the human, because there's only so much that technology can do without the end user being aware and being able to utilize those technologies